Good morning, everybody. It's Nikki Jordan here with Got Space. And this is my second, going into third now, week of demanding more of myself. And today I wanted to talk about something that I've been I'm actually not operating on that way myself most of the time, except for in the small parts of life. But I've been talking to people who have. So one of the things that happens is we oftentimes are looking in the rearview mirror, and people are often focusing on not just the bad things in the rearview mirror, but the good, especially when the normal, the baseline is disappearing for us. The normal of what we know has always been what holds us up, what our society is, the way it is that we live, what we can expect, right, is disappearing like we knew it is. So there's that safety net from which we can choose to do new things is not there. And a lot of times people are looking in the rearview mirror in life. I don't even care if it's how you choose the food that you make. You know, I always love that dish, so I'm going to make it. What if you made that dish slightly differently, right? What if that dish wasn't even what you wanted, but because you're reliving some experience, or you're oh my goodness, the universe is not letting me get that word. You know, when you have that word, it's right on the edge of you and it's just disappearing. Sentimentality, that's what that word is. All right, so maybe they are showing me that because, okay, they say they are, because a lot of people are operating off of some sentimentality that is really in their way. Okay, because things are not ever the same, right? We're always in the now, but a lot of people are focusing backwards at what happened. Okay, this is if something's bad, right? What happened, what could have been, why did they make that decision? Why did that person treat me that way? Why did they do that to our family? Why did they do that to our business? Whatever it is. And they're not really looking at even what was then. They're looking at what they wished were then, right? So the ingredients of the future, when you bring the positive experiences that you want to relive, right? I really love that trip. I want to go back there again. You'll never have the same experience the second time around, right? Whatever it added to you, it may not add the second time, right? Or that place that you lived that you always loved, and so you go back there and it isn't the same. It's really interesting because a long time ago I traveled in 1994 and 1997. I traveled for 2 independent years around the world with my husband, and we bought one-way tickets where we were going, and we had this idea that we wanted to go back to India. We had such an amazing experience, but by the time we had gone through everything that we went through and got there, I had a terrible experience. I'm like, why am I thinking I was going to have the same experience again? You know, what you see is what you get. What ingredients you put in your vision, right, is what you end up getting. So I don't know why I'm drawn to talk about this today, because in the larger scale of how we normally talk about this, which is looking in the rearview mirror with regrets, wrongs, either you wronged or someone wronged you and all of that stuff. I'm not often looking in that space, but I could even apply this to a regular activity, which would be making the same kind of food. If your body likes the same kind of food, if you make it over and over again, do you ever notice that it's looking for a new adventure? It doesn't necessarily want that. And so in this COVID and stay-at-home time, my daughter has gotten more into cooking, and she started sending me, when I say cooking, it's not like my husband and I making green curry from scratch, but anything, any explorations with food. And she sent me a TikTok about a pasta soup that some mother makes for her children when they're not feeling well. Now, we're not having any of that, but in this was this basil oil. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I never thought about this. What if I added this to the way we do things? And so I took a piece of the now, the new, the adventure that my palate wanted, my body wanted, because I wanted to eat something new. I wanted to have a new eating adventure. And all it was making a salad. making a salad a new way. And so it wasn't that I was like, my daughter's statement was, if you make a salad, can we not have the same old way you always make it? Now, I haven't even been making it the same old way, but her memory is that she wants a new adventure. There is no thing as the old baseline. And so the other day I was talking to somebody who was really upset. She had gone to visit somebody who she had hoped to reconnect with, and it wasn't the same. And it sent her back through all these memories of what they had done to her, and she was trying to get over this. And she was visited them in the hope that it would be anew. And she said, I had every intention that it was just going to be open and free, and I was just going to go with the flow. And it didn't work out that way. It didn't feel good. And I'm thinking, what ingredients of the past did she bring into that experience that then did not allow her to just be? She thought she was being, but there was so much charge on it about what this person had done to her. The thing is, as I told her, that family doesn't have to stay always connected to you. This is, as many people who study some of this know, a good lie. A good lie is that you have to stay connected with your family. And I learned this from my mother, who did not stay connected to her brother. And I always wondered why. And then as time went on, I'm like, they just weren't even the same. The ingredients of their life were not the same. There was nothing much to enjoy. And they had lost their father when they were young. She was 13 and he was younger. And they had lost their mom when I was in 5th grade, so when I was 10. So they were really not even 50 when they lost their parents. So there are no bonds where there are no bonds. But if you try to make them there, then you're trying to create something with the wrong ingredients. And this is not at all what I thought I was going to talk about when I started to write what I discovered in the last 4 days, but it's because it's come up a lot. And when there's shifting ground and there is no such thing as a normal, you are literally like in a new field where the crops are maybe not even the same, or 50% of the crops are not the same. So what you have to nourish yourself with is something different. So in the effort of demanding more of yourself or myself, it's just, what is there and what can I create from there? And so in my case, there's been a lot of boredom, and I'm like, what am I putting in my life that is not feeding me and is making me kind of just stop and do nothing? And in the do nothing, oftentimes there's something inspiring, but I got to the point where I was just blank. And I was like, okay, I'm either going to create something here and do something different or new or exciting to my being, or I'm going to demolecularize and evaporate. If you haven't seen the video that I posted, I took a video from a movie, or it's a TV show called The Umbrella Academy, and where a being demolecularizes and leaves permanently. I was like, oh yeah, that's what's feeling like it's happening to me. I'm like, but wait a minute, I chose to come here and be a part of this. I actually love this reality. And as my husband said, everybody has their own reality. They're living in it. So there isn't even a common reality to some degree, right? There are some laws and rules and regulations that we live by as a society, but our experiences are different. And so when I hit that rock bottom boredom, I don't know if anyone else has been there, but I hit that rock bottom boredom and I'm like, I cannot go on like this. Why am I dragging my feet? Is there something new that I'm supposed to create, or is there just something that maybe people are waiting for? Now, there are some mundane things I need to create that would be good for our personal home-based futures that I reject, but I'm like, even with those, I'm not looking at the future ingredients that are coming to the now, the ingredients of the future that are coming to now, the future me that's trying to pull me into an easier lifestyle. Like, what's that rejection about? Is it an unwillingness to give myself a half a day for something that will create a greater future, right? Why? What's tethering me? And are they entities? Are there, there's a yes and a no there. And really it's stagnation. Did I want to stagnate? In the stagnation, did I feel like something new would happen? Or is it just that I wanted really truly to see that the energy of everything is available to you? Whatever's sitting in front of you is available to you. The energy of my coffee with all the great essential oils that I put in it is available to me. The energy of the trees, the beautiful fog. You can see we have fog. This is not smog. This is like our parts per million are way low right now. They have gone somewhere else, as I've heard from others. We can breathe now. What is it that I can create with? You know, when the dog stares at me, am I receiving from the dog? Am I receiving the no-seums, the future that wants to come into being? And this is really important. And when we think about what we want to create as a world together, this is not our individual lives, but what we want to create as a world together, what future is asking us to come and be with it? What future is it? And can we demand more of ourselves to see the energy of the future, even if we can't define what it is? It looks fuzzy, but it's a pull. It's not unlike when I lose my keys and I say, where are my keys? Show me where you are. I feel a pull from my chest. It pulls me towards it. It's really interesting because I'm connecting with the keys. I don't see myself as separate from them. I see them as an expression of something in this world, which is like the thing that turns the car on, right, to go somewhere. I see that expression, but I don't see myself as separate. And the only time I see myself as separate is when I've contracted back into my world. And that's what people do often when they contract into the past, or they're thinking about someone as though they were that person in the past. They're not thinking about them as though who they are now, which, even if it's a family member that left you or wronged you or whatever, they might not even have you in their life. They might not even have you in their life. They may have moved on. And in this case, you know, this person may not have recognized the choices that were made back then by herself to not even have this person in their life, but wanting more. You know, like the way we get out of the rearview mirror is look at what's sitting on the table. And the way, like for teachers, the way teachers create more in their life, or facilitators or whatever, is not looking at the tools that they have, that they learned, that they have to express to people the way they are, particularly like nutritionists who say, this is the way the body needs to eat. What if that isn't true? One day I lay out a whole bunch of food and my teacher said, I want you to run your hand over it and tell you which one it wants. And I was like a very healthy person, but I would, you know, junk food now and then. And my body wanted the junk food. There was something in those Cheetos my body truly wanted. And that is okay. If someone sticks to a point of view of what you have to have, it is the point of view jail that you are in. You have a point of view, and those point of views, you know, to be right, create an agenda that you have to live by. And as teachers or facilitators or whatever, you need to be very careful of this, because it means that you hold something or someone who told you those things as real and true. You hold that person in reverence without being sensitive to yourself. It's one of the reasons why I'm not turned on when I hear people regurgitating tools that they learned in any spiritual modality, conscious modality or whatever. I'm like, wait a minute, where's their voice? What they're doing is they're parroting something and it isn't truly them. And the more they solidify something as true, the more they can't see the ingredients that are lying right there for them, right? Because we're all channels. Just 99.99999% of the people don't realize you can be open to what's talking to you, just like the person you revere is talking to you, right? It's one thing to consume the information that you see and digest it. It's another thing to digest it and live as your own being. And I say this because I'm really surprised how often people will speak someone else's speak instead of themselves. And that's a process. We find our own speak, but we cannot, this is looking not exactly in the rear view mirror, but in someone else's mirror. What do you take that adds to you so that you can become you? And a lot of times when people say to me, oh my God, you're channeling just what's for me all the time. I say, because that's my job. My job as a channel is to take what's talking to you and help you see what's talking to you. It has nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me. And if I can turn more of that on in people, I'd be so grateful, because it will help them show other people what's talking to them. It makes them incredibly better at how they help the world, whether it's just as a friend, whether it's as a family member, a parent, a sibling, an in-law, or a teacher, a facilitator, a guider, a coach, right? What are the ingredients that are showing up for the person that are not the regurgitated things that you've heard? And what are the ingredients of your life that you do not bring in to someone else's life, right? And that's why when someone emphatically likes to tell me how to eat, I'm like, no. I will take that information and I will ask my body, what is it that you want right now? And I know I will still ignore what my body wants, and I'll be, I don't know, not in tune with everything. But today I was. Today I made, when you make something, that's why I always think it's funny, people are like, what do you drink in the morning? Well, I drink a variety of things. It just changes. And today it was just make a regular brewed coffee and put turmeric, ginger, clove, cardamom oil in it with cinnamon powder. And I'm like, okay, and coconut oil, collagen, and milk. And I'm like, okay. And I drank it. My body was so nourished because my body showed me what it wanted. And if you find this confusing, let me know, because this is something I've been able to show a lot of people how to be more in tune with that. And how to remember to be in tune with it, because that's another thing. How to remember to be in tune with it. It's a way of living, and it's a very simple thing. It doesn't involve a lot of steps. It's very simple. So anyway, I hope this helped you. This was just demanding more of living with the ingredients of the now for myself that is coming from future me wanting to create something that would make my life a better place. Right? And if we all were doing that, we would create some kind of baseline here, some new normal as societies that might contribute to everybody in a way we can't even imagine, right? Because there's no fear in there. There's curiosity. It's all 100% curiosity moving forward. Fear is looking backward, trying to keep things the way they were, the way they are, while the world is changing around you. It becomes an explosion at some point. It's like a bad relationship with everything. It becomes an explosion, and we are seeing those, right? Don't need to repeat those. So anyway, let me know how this is for you. Take care. Bye.